Morning, welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy, and this is my last video today, and then I got to get busy. But I've been wanting to do a video on this because I found it was pretty interesting. We were talking about these different race species that came from these different star systems and these different interdimensional beings that we call archangels. And one of the things I thought was really interesting was I had a conversation with a person, and they do a lot of Bigfoot hunting, and we were talking about, do you think that the reason that a lot of people don't see Bigfoots is because they actually come from the fourth dimension? And, a lot of times there are reports of Bigfoot, and I just got to chill. There are reports of Bigfoot and followed by a UFO type phenomena. So I did trace the lineage of the Bigfoot, and they actually are a fourth dimensional being, and that they come from this order called a hominid ape. And their DNA, they have an 11-strand Azar son DNA, and the Azarites were a blue hominid that came from the Syrian and the Pleiades. And so I guess you probably have this faction, depending on maybe if it's a malevolent or a benevolent type Bigfoot, whether or not you have these Palladian beings that come with their interdimensional being, and a lot of times there are also people will see orbs before or after they see these Bigfoot. And I think it all has to do with the resonant frequency of the person, whether or not they can actually see this being manifesting in our third dimensional reality. Because we've talked about the fourth dimension is actually a physical place, and there are physical things there, and there are blood beings there in the fourth dimension. And so if they're able to come through, and maybe that's why a lot of these beings are seen in these particular areas. If you just go back and look at the list of stargates, you'll see that there are a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Washington. There are Bigfoot sightings in Florida. Oh, well, maybe it's because they come through these stargates or these Q sites. It's really something to think about. So yes, the DNA of these Bigfoot, they're called Q-ventilier. Q-U-E-V-E-N-T-E-L-L-I-E-R. And there are a couple of different types of beings that they're, like we talked about, this is how you get some of these nefarious type beings, is because they have manufactured changes in their DNA profile to lose their celestialness, to lose their God spark, that they've intentionally lowered themselves into this third dimensional reality because they like it here. They live off of energy of other beings. This is why in order for them to survive, they have to harvest our energy. So you have good and bad in everything, just like we've talked about. There's good and bad in everything, just like in humanity. There's like some humans that are just, they're worse than the scum of the earth. And then you have others that are just incredible. So you really can't say that every Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever you want to call them, because there's 100 different coin names for them. You can't, not all of them are bad. Not all of them are good. It just depends. It depends on, if they've fallen. If they've chose to not embrace their, their higher self, and they want to be in the material realm. So yeah, Bigfoot is a fourth dimensional being, and they are able to manifest. Some of them are able to manifest into this third dimensional reality, and maybe a lot of them fell. A lot of them fell when we had these cataclysms on Tara. Because the interesting thing is I've talked about us being called, our race is called the Turanium, T-U-R-A-N-E-U-S-I-A-M. So if you look in that word itself, there are several words in there. One is Tara, which is the planet that the Atlantean race came from in Tara. And then you have the hill of Tara in the UK. And then you have the Urantia book, which if you take the T off, you get you know, maybe Urantia was the original name of this planet, and maybe the being, the extraterrestrial being, I don't know what you want to call them, extraterrestrials, what do you want to call them, higher dimensional beings? Maybe the higher dimensional being at the time of Turansanium, or Tara, or whatever you want to call it, was Uriel. I mean, think about it. Think about it. I think that there's a correlation there. That Uriel had to do with the people of Tara. That was, you know, and I guess we'd have to go back and look and see exactly where Uriel, what, you know, which one of these star systems that Uriel came out of, or Uriel, however you want to say it. But, you know, I think it's a strong possibility. It's just something to think about, you know, that we have this Bigfoot DNA lineage. It's a hominid ape. And we know that it's some type of ape humanoid. I mean, that's quite evident from the evidence that's been captured. And, you know, and maybe you can't, because they are from the fourth dimension and they can manipulate the magnetic field, maybe this is why we can never get any definitive proof of these beings, and why the government seems to get involved when there is a situation where one of these beings is, you know, killed, or if there's evidence, they really want to block it. And you have to ask yourself, well, why is it that they're so worried about hiding this evidence? Well, if they hide the evidence that Bigfoots are real, then, you know, it opens a whole nother line of questioning as to why. Where these people come from? You know, what's going on? Where do we come from? You know? See, this is the thing, is that it opens up a whole series of questions that, you know, the powers that be on this planet right now that are controlling this planet, they don't want to have these conversations, because this will put people back into their power, right? And then people will wake up and start realizing where they came from. So I just wanted to add a little bit of backstory of what I have uncovered about Bigfoot, because I thought it was really interesting, because we have a lot of questions. You know, people have been they've been having Bigfoot sightings for years. People would try to collect evidence, you know, hair samples, whatnot. And, you know, there are also people that have had relationships with these beings, you know. So there's a lot to be said on this subject. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So it's been 7 minutes. So when you come find me, I'll be here. We live in the past, present, future, all at the same time. And everyone take care during this Hurricane Milton if you're in Florida. And everyone else, give us some warm wishes and some and prayers. And with that, I thank you for watching Sacred Enzyme, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.